If you're receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, stop scrolling right now, because what just happened in 2026 could mean more money in your pocket starting this month. Millions of American seniors and disabled veterans have been quietly underpaid for years, but the massive 2026 federal update is here, and it's bringing the biggest changes to monthly benefits that retirees and disabled Americans have seen in decades. We're talking about a guaranteed minimum of $1,300 per month, and depending on your situation, you could qualify for even more than you're currently receiving. Whether you're on Social Security retirement, SSDI, SSI, or VA disability, this update affects you directly. Here's what most people don't know. Millions of eligible Americans are leaving hundreds of dollars on the table every single month simply because nobody told them about these new thresholds, rule changes, and payment adjustments. Are you getting everything you're legally entitled to? Do you know if your benefits were automatically updated, or if you need to take action right now? In this video, we're breaking down every single change, who qualifies, how much you could receive, and the exact steps to make sure you don't miss a single dollar. This information is too important to keep to yourself. If you know a senior, veteran, or disabled family member, share this video immediately. Hit that like button right now so YouTube shows this to every American who needs it. Let's make sure no one gets left behind. And welcome back, everyone. If you are a senior, a disabled American, or a veteran who depends on monthly federal benefits, then you are in exactly the right place today. We are going to walk through every single detail of the 2026 updates to Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA benefits. And by the time this video is done, you are going to know exactly where you stand, exactly what you are entitled to, and exactly what steps you may need to take to make sure you are not leaving a single dollar behind. So let's get right into it, because this is important and you deserve to understand every bit of it. Let's start with the big question. Why is 2026 such a significant year for federal benefit recipients? The answer comes down to a combination of factors that have been building for several years now. Inflation, the rising cost of living, increased pressure from advocacy groups, and major legislative changes have all collided in 2026 to produce one of the most meaningful benefit adjustment periods in modern American history. For years, seniors and disabled Americans have been quietly struggling. The cost of groceries has gone up, rent has gone up, prescription medications, utilities, transportation, all of it has climbed higher and higher. And while benefits did receive some adjustments through the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, those increases often felt like they barely kept pace with what people were actually experiencing at the grocery store or the pharmacy counter. But 2026 is different. Lawmakers, advocates, and federal agencies have responded to the sustained financial pressure on America's most vulnerable populations, and the result is a package of updates that touches nearly every major federal benefit program. The minimum monthly benefit floor is one of the most talked about changes, and for good reason. For decades, some long-term Social Security recipients, particularly those who worked in low-wage jobs for many years, were receiving monthly payments that simply were not enough to cover basic living expenses. The new 2026 minimum benefit threshold addresses this directly. If you have a sufficient work history and have been receiving Social Security retirement benefits below a certain level, you may now be entitled to a higher baseline payment. This is not a small tweak. For some recipients, this could mean hundreds of additional dollars every single month, and that kind of money makes a real difference when you are trying to pay your bills and maintain your dignity and independence in your golden years. Now, you might be wondering, do I automatically get this increase, or do I have to do something to receive it? That is a great question, and the honest answer is that it depends on your specific situation. The Social Security Administration has been working to identify recipients who qualify for the updated minimum benefit, and in many cases, adjustments will be applied automatically. However, there are situations where your records may not be fully up to date, or where there may be discrepancies in your earnings history that could affect your payment calculation. This is why it is absolutely critical that you do not simply assume everything will be handled for you. You need to log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov, review your earnings record, and make sure everything looks accurate. If something seems off, you have the right to request a correction, and doing so could directly increase your monthly payment. Let's talk about Social Security retirement benefits more broadly, because there are several layers to what is changing in 2026. The COLA adjustment that took effect at the start of this year has already added a meaningful percentage to monthly payments for tens of millions of retirees. When you combine that COLA increase with the new minimum benefit floor and additional changes to how benefits are calculated for certain groups of workers, the cumulative impact is significant. Retired teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public employees who were previously affected by the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset have seen major changes come through as well. These provisions had long been criticized for unfairly reducing the Social Security benefits of people who also received government pensions. The reforms that have been implemented give these individuals a fairer calculation, and for many of them, that means a noticeably higher monthly check. If you are receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, the 2026 updates are equally important for you. SSDI is the program that provides monthly benefits to Americans who have worked and paid into Social Security, but who have become disabled and can no longer work. The updates to SSDI in 2026 include changes to the substantial gainful activity threshold, which is the amount of money you are allowed to earn each month while still receiving disability benefits. This threshold has been increased, which gives SSDI recipients a little more breathing room if they are trying to do some part-time work or participate in a work trial period. It may not sound like a dramatic change, but for someone who is disabled and trying to maintain some level of financial independence and purpose, even a modest increase in the earnings threshold can open up new possibilities. There are also updates to the trial work period rules that SSDI recipients should be aware of. The trial work period is a program feature that allows disability recipients to test their ability to work for a limited time without immediately losing their benefits. In 2026, the monthly earnings amount that counts as a trial work month has been adjusted upward, which again gives recipients more flexibility. If you have been on SSDI and have been curious about whether you could try returning to some form of work without risking your benefits, now is actually a good time to speak with a benefits counselor or contact the Social Security Administration directly to understand exactly how these updated rules apply to your situation. Now let's shift to SSI, Supplemental Security Income, because the changes here are going to be life-changing for some of the most financially vulnerable Americans receiving federal benefits. SSI is different from Social Security, Retirement, and SSDI in that it is a needs-based program. You do not need a work history to qualify for SSI. It is designed for low-income seniors, blind individuals, and disabled people who have limited income and resources. The federal SSI payment rate has been increased in 2026, and when you factor in state supplemental payments that many states provide on top of the federal amount, the total monthly benefit for many SSI recipients is now reaching or exceeding that $1,300 threshold that we mentioned at the top of this video. One of the most significant and long overdue changes affecting SSI recipients in 2026 involves the program's asset limits. For many years, SSI recipients were subject to extremely strict rules about how much money and how many assets they were allowed to have. The individual asset limit had not been meaningfully updated in decades, and it forced many people into a situation of deliberate poverty. They literally could not save any money without risking their eligibility for benefits. The 2026 updates have addressed this by raising the resource limits, which means SSI recipients can now hold a bit more in savings and assets without being penalized. This is a huge deal for people who want to build even a small financial cushion for emergencies without the fear of losing their monthly benefit. The rules around what counts as income for SSI purposes have also been updated. Certain types of income that were previously counted against SSI recipients will now be excluded from the calculation, which effectively increases the net benefit that many people receive. If you are on SSI or you know someone who is, it is worth taking a close look at how these income exclusion changes apply to your specific household situation. A benefit specialist or a local Social Security office can walk you through the details and help you understand whether you might now be eligible for a higher payment. Veterans, this next part is especially for you because the VA benefit updates in 2026 are substantial, and you absolutely need to know about them. The Department of Veterans Affairs has implemented a new round of disability compensation rate increases that reflect the COLA adjustment and additional legislative changes specifically targeted at improving the financial security of disabled veterans. If you are a veteran receiving VA disability compensation, your monthly payment has increased, and the amount of that increase depends on your disability rating. Veterans with higher disability ratings, those rated at 70% or above, are seeing some of the most meaningful dollar increases in their monthly payments. Beyond the rate increases, 2026 has also brought important changes to VA pension benefits, which are separate from disability compensation. VA pension is a needs-based benefit available to wartime veterans who meet certain income and net worth limitations. The income thresholds and net worth limits for VA pension eligibility have been updated in 2026, which means some veterans who may have previously been just above the eligibility line might now qualify. If you are a wartime veteran with limited income and you have never applied for VA pension, or if you were previously told you did not qualify, it is absolutely worth revisiting that question with a VA-accredited claims agent or veteran service organization. The Aid and Attendance Benefit, which is a supplement to VA pension for veterans who need help with daily living activities, has also seen its rates increase in 2026. Aid and Attendance is one of the most underutilized VA benefits out there. Thousands of eligible veterans and their surviving spouses are not receiving it simply because they do not know it exists, or they were never told to apply for it. If you or a veteran you love needs assistance with bathing, dressing, eating, or other daily activities, or if you are living in an assisted living facility or nursing home, you may qualify for aid and attendance on top of your regular VA pension. The combined monthly benefit can be substantial. And again, for surviving spouses of veterans, this benefit is available to you as well. Let's also talk about Medicare, because for most Social Security and SSDI recipients, Medicare is deeply connected to your overall financial picture. The Medicare premium adjustments for 2026 have been carefully calibrated so that the increase in Social Security benefits is not entirely eaten up by higher Medicare Part B premiums. There is a provision known as the Hold Harmless Rule that protects Social Security recipients from having their net benefit reduced due to Medicare premium increases, and that protection remains in place. However, it is still important to review your Medicare coverage annually to make sure you are enrolled in the right plan, that you are taking advantage of all available extra help for prescription drug costs, and that you are not paying more than you need to for your healthcare coverage. Speaking of extra help, this is another program that millions of eligible seniors and disabled Americans are not enrolled in despite qualifying for it. Extra Help, also known as the Low-Income Subsidy, helps Medicare beneficiaries pay for their Part D prescription drug costs, including premiums, deductibles, and copayments. If your income and resources fall below certain thresholds, which have been updated for 2026, you may qualify for Extra Help and pay very little or even nothing for your prescription medications. Given how expensive many medications have become, this benefit can be worth thousands of dollars a year. You can apply for Extra Help through the Social Security Administration, and I want to encourage every single person watching this video to check their eligibility if they have not already done so. Now, there is something else that we need to address directly, and it is something that affects far too many seniors and disabled Americans. That is the issue of overpayment notices from the Social Security Administration. In recent years, the SSA has sent out a significant number of overpayment notices, informing recipients that they were paid more than they were entitled to and demanding repayment, sometimes of very large amounts. These notices can be absolutely terrifying to receive, especially when you are living on a fixed income, and the idea of repaying thousands of dollars seems impossible. The good news is that in 2026, there have been important policy changes around how the SSA handles overpayment recovery. The default withholding rate for recovering overpayments has been reduced, giving recipients more time and flexibility to repay. You also have the right to request a waiver of the overpayment if you can demonstrate that the overpayment was not your fault and that repaying it would cause financial hardship. Do not ignore an overpayment notice, but also do not panic. Reach out to the SSA, understand your rights, and explore your options. For those of you who are not yet receiving benefits but are approaching retirement age or are considering applying for disability benefits, the 2026 updates also have implications for you. The full retirement age rules remain consistent, but the earnings test thresholds, the limits on how much you can earn while still receiving Social Security before you reach full retirement age, have been adjusted upward. This means if you are working and collecting early Social Security benefits, you may be able to earn a bit more before your benefits are temporarily reduced. And for those applying for SSDI or SSI for the first time, the processing time improvements that the SSA has been working to implement are beginning to show results, though the system still has significant room for improvement. If you are in the middle of an application or an appeal, stay persistent. The benefits you are entitled to are worth fighting for. One more thing that every benefit recipient should be paying attention to in 2026 is the protection of their benefits from scams. Unfortunately, as federal benefit amounts increase, scammers take notice too. There has been a rise in fraudulent phone calls, text messages, and emails targeting seniors and disabled Americans, with criminals pretending to be from the Social Security Administration, the VA, or Medicare. These scammers may tell you that your benefits are at risk, that you owe money, or that you need to provide your personal information to receive your updated payment. Please know this: the Social Security Administration and the VA will never call you and demand immediate payment or threaten to suspend your benefits over the phone. If you receive a suspicious call, hang up. Do not give out your Social Security number, bank account information, or any personal details to anyone who contacts you unexpectedly claiming to be from a government agency. As we wrap up today, I want you to take a moment and really let the importance of all this sink in. The 2026 updates to Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA benefits represent a genuine effort to improve the financial lives of millions of Americans who have worked hard, served their country, or are navigating life with a disability. The money is there. The benefits are real. But you have to be informed, you have to be proactive, and you have to make sure that everything in your records is accurate and up to date so that you receive every single dollar you are legally entitled to. Log into your My Social Security account. Contact your local VA office. Speak to a benefits counselor. Check your Medicare coverage. Apply for extra help if you have not already. Review your SSI eligibility if your situation has changed. And please, share this video with every senior, every veteran, every disabled American you know, because this information can literally change someone's financial life. You have earned these benefits, you deserve them, and in 2026, the system is finally, slowly but surely beginning to reflect that. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we will see you in the next video.